So, you want to buy a house? What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button before we get started. Make sure to ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads, and let's go ahead and jump right on into it. Alright, you guys, so a couple days ago I put up a post in my community tab asking if you all would like to see a video on the process of becoming a homeowner, purchasing a home, and majority of you said yes. I am still in the process, if you can't tell by the bare toddler bed back here and a few other things, if you could see the flip side of the camera. If you've watched other videos also, you know that I've taken a lot of things down. We are closing on a home very soon, and I will be moving in a few weeks. So I thought, why not make a video? Because I've had friends and family ask me about the process I've been going through, and I kind of wish that I had someone to tell me from start to finish what to expect. Here at the home stretch, so I pretty much know everything that there is possibly to know about what you can expect during this whole process, because it's not just a straight beeline to the house. You don't see a house, you don't tell somebody you want the house, and then you're in the house. It's not that simple. A lot of people will share that great news of, hey, I just got a house, you know, we're moving, but you don't know what they went through to get there. They don't share that whole struggle of becoming a homeowner with you. Regardless of if it's your first time purchasing a home or your fifth time purchasing a home, the process is the same. So I'm going to be referencing some documents I have here and my handy dandy laptop because I made some notes for you guys as well. I kind of wanted to touch on several things, and I will say this, I could sit here and talk all day about what happens when you buy a home, but we're not going to do that. So in an effort to save time, I want to hit on some key points, and if there's anything that I touch on and I don't quite answer your questions, make sure to comment down below and ask me. I check my comments on a regular basis and I will respond right away, or as soon as possible. And hopefully I touch on everything, and forgive me if I'm kind of here, there, and everywhere. There's a lot of information to take in, so get your notebooks, get your pen and paper, get your phone, open up a notepad somewhere, and let's get into it. So there are a couple of ways you can start this process. Now, whether you already know you want to purchase a home or you just want to be prepared for the future, this video is where you need to be. So I would suggest first finding a lender, as opposed to just reaching out to a real estate agent. I mean, if you want to start that way, that's fine, but they're going to refer you to a lender to see how much house you can afford. So you want to find a lender, and you can go to your local bank or whoever you bank with, or you can just do some research online and find your own. Let me jump and say that check your local counties, because a lot of them do offer home buyer programs or home buyer classes. Now, I went under the assumption from my agent that if you attend these classes, you can possibly get money towards a down payment on your home if you're a first-time home buyer. Didn't have to go to that class, I found out. So that's why I'm here, this video, to tell you what you need to know. I didn't have to go to that class, and it was an all-day thing. You can still get money as a first-time home buyer towards your down payment, up to $10,000 through various programs. It just depends on what you qualify for. So if you're a first-time home buyer, you'll want to find a lender and let them know that. And you may work with more than one lender. I have been through, this is my fourth lender, I believe, that I've dealt with, and my fourth and final lender, and this is who I'm purchasing my home through. So you're gonna find as you go, some of these things are gonna work for you and some of them are not. And if you don't like or get along with someone in this process, just pick up and keep going, because there's plenty of other people out there. Sometimes it's each lender may be able to work a better deal for you than the last. Sometimes it's all in who they know, who you know. So just keep working until you find someone that you like. The first lender I worked with, I was actually referred because I started the process of reaching out to a realtor, and I met her. And after talking to her, which was like the interview process, you definitely want to interview your realtor and ask, you know, about their credentials. Make sure that they're a good fit for you. You'll get a good feel for them in your face-to-face or over the phone, especially with the pandemic going on. It may be over the phone right now, but you'll get a good feel for them. And they'll ask you kind of what you're looking for, what you like, what you don't like. Just a chance to get to know each other. And they'll probably put together a little portfolio of you as a potential client of theirs, so you'll know what you'll be doing. But back to the lender. The first lender she referred me to, I kept hitting a brick wall with them. So even though, you know, I'm a full-time employee, I work hard, you know, I make money, it's not just about your credit score, you know, it's about your debt-to-income ratio. So I technically have 2 vehicles in my name. As a single income household, that was making my debt to income ratio pretty high, so they wouldn't qualify me for anything. After trying to work out a few different ways with them, I realized this isn't working. I went to another lender who was also recommended to me by my agent, and they initially told me I was pre-qualified for a certain amount, wrote up my pre-qual letter and everything. I start looking at homes and let them know that, hey, I'm interested in this home. And it turns out I wasn't actually pre-qualified for anything. It was under the assumption of me getting the other vehicle out of my name or sold. So it was like a lot of misinformation, lack of communication, and it was hard to reach this individual. So I went on to the third person who was newer to the game, and he seemed to be a lot more informative on the process and everything, but I still ran into the same issue of this second vehicle. So I ended up, by referral of my agent, finding the fourth lender who I'm working with now, and they allow you to make cash offers. So let's talk a little bit about that. So I put in an offer. It was a cash offer. Well, I didn't put it in per se. They put it in for me. It's a cash offer, and the offer was accepted. So your offer is accepted, and then comes the rest of it, which we'll get to in a minute. So let's talk about what they will need from you as a part of this pre-approval process. So like I said, you're gonna go to your lender. You're gonna talk to them, you know, about purchasing a home. They're gonna tell you, based on a few things, what you qualify for. Things you'll wanna have with you while working with the lender or bank to get approved. You're gonna wanna have a copy of your most recent pay stubs. I would suggest the last 2 months. They usually ask for the last 30 days, but just to be safe, have the last 2 months. You're gonna wanna have W-2s, federal tax returns, any bank investment statements like your 401k, IRAs. And if you're missing any of these things, you're just going to delay yourself, and they're going to keep buzzing at you until you get them what they're asking for. I would go ahead and download Experian. That is the closest thing to your most accurate and true credit report. It is free, and it gives you real-time updates whenever your credit is pulled. I have found that to be the most true and accurate app. And anytime that I have gotten a credit update from my lender, it has been accurate, on spot to what the Experian app has indicated my credit score was. So you'll want to, they'll have you sign something authorizing them to pull your credit. And your credit is going to be pulled several times during this process. I would definitely, on Experian, also suggest that you take advantage of the Boost feature, which you can link any frequent utility bills and stuff like that you pay monthly, and that will increase your score dramatically, like instantly. So definitely do that. You're going to want to have a copy of your ID. If you're self-employed, there's a few different things you're going to need. You're going to need your business federal tax returns, profit and loss statements. If you're retired, you know, you need your most recent 1099. They're going to ask you about where you currently reside. If you already own a home, they're going to ask for that mortgage statement. Any gap in employment, they're going to ask you about that. So if you don't have a solid work history, be prepared to answer any questions that they have, because these people have to approve you, and you want to be as upfront and honest about things as possible, because it's going to come out in the end. If you are divorced, they will want a copy of your divorce decree, possibly. Child support and alimony, they'll want to know about that, whether you're paying it or whether that's an income to you, an additional income to you, because that does also help if you're receiving alimony or child support. That will help when they're determining how much home you can afford. And bankruptcy. So anyone that does not meet the requirements, they may ask you if you have a co-signer that you'd like to add, and you can definitely be ready to do that. So you've given them all this information. It may take no more than a week for them to reply to you and let you know that, hey, they've ran your application. This is what's next. And if you guys hear Chloe in the background, excuse it. She's having a moment. She wants to be in here with me. But as I was saying, they're going to give you a letter of pre-qualification. A pre-qualification letter is typically good for 60 days. So most people, once they get this letter, they know they're going to start looking for a house immediately. And if you don't find something within that 60 days, no big deal. You probably won't. It just depends on the market. And once that letter is up, you're going to want to reach back out to the lender and let them know you need an updated pre-qual letter. So usually, depending on what kind of loan you would be eligible for, they will do a letter of pre-qual regarding the specific address of the home that you're looking at purchasing. I typically had general pre-qual letters, and they were good for any location. You also want to check if the house or condo or townhome you're looking at has any HOA fees. You want to run it by your lender that the home you're looking at is good to go underneath the guidelines that they've qualified you under, because they may tell you that, hey, with these HOA fees, you're not going to qualify. It can just knock you out of that bracket drastically. So always check. So let's talk about the different types of loans that you can be eligible for. And if you need any more clarity on them, let me know. I'm just going to skim through them really quickly. So an FHA loan, it's a federal loan, and basically it's one of the easier ones to get. Especially, I learned in the class I went to, if you're not eligible for a conventional loan or a VA loan, if you're a veteran, or a USDA loan, you know, you can probably get an FHA loan if your credit score at the time you had to have at least a 640, I believe it was. Yes, so 640 was a minimum credit, and I'm glad I wrote that down, actually. At the time of the class, this was in January, you had to have a 6.4 minimum credit limit to at least be eligible for an FHA loan. There's nothing wrong with an FHA loan. The best type of loan to have is a conventional loan, or to be able to make a cash offer. So a conventional loan means simply that you may not be required to have mortgage insurance like you would on an FHA loan. And then mortgage insurance basically just protects your lender. So that's something to ask about when you're going through what you qualify for, because they may not explain to you when you get your pre-qual letter. They'll just say you're eligible for X amount of dollars, but make sure you know exactly what kind of loan it is. It should indicate it somewhere in that letter, but if it doesn't, always ask. Now, of course, anytime you're making an offer on anything, whether it's a home or a car, cash is going to outweigh it all. So if you can make a cash offer, that's where you're going to be in the best position to get in on a house. Because remember, it's not just you looking at these houses. There's a whole lot of people that are going to be putting in offers, and these houses are going quick off the market. So once you've got your pre-qual letter, you're going to want to take that back to the realtor that you're working with. The realtor is then going to plug you into the matrix. This matrix will allow you to see an access of all homes in the areas that you've told them you're interested in looking at. And it's going to show you within your price range what houses are actively on the market. So be cautious of using Zillow and these other websites that you may find frequently in looking for homes, because they don't always have the most updated and accurate information. always reference the matrix that your realtor will give you access to through a specific link that they provide. So another thing I meant to mention when you're dealing with your realtor is they may have you sign an agreement that you guys are basically in a committed relationship for at least 6 months. And that typically renews every 6 months depending on how long you're working with this individual. That type of agreement is called a buyer agent agreement. Now, I have met some freelance agents that don't have you sign that because they figure, hey, this is either going to work out or it's not. Some agents, especially with like bigger real estate companies, may have you sign this, and if you're not happy with them, you may be stuck with them. So always ask in the interview process if you're going to be committing to signing a buyer agent agreement. So you've taken this letter to your realtor, you've gotten logged into the matrix, you see what homes are available, you want to start looking. Make sure that you have an agent that's going to be available to help you out, not only when it's convenient for them, but when it's most convenient for you. Most people are out looking at homes on the weekend. So if you want to get up at 6 or 7 in the morning, you want an agent that's not going to give you any lip when you're saying, hey, I want to go see this house right now. The agent that I'm dealing with, I really liked her at first, and I ended up signing a buyer agent agreement. I haven't tried to get out of it with her because I'm so close to the end of this process. I just want it to be over and done with, honestly. And I noticed that she had a lot of excuses about why she couldn't show me things or why she didn't think I need to be looking at things. So we kind of butted heads a lot. But like I said, I'm almost done and I'm getting what I wanted, not what she felt I needed or wanted. So I'm happy now. But when these houses come up, you can see a house go up for availability at 8 a.m. and it'll be gone at 12. Literally, sometimes houses go into multiple offers that quick, and then you have a deadline to get your offer in. And it usually takes a few days once all offers are in. So once an offer is accepted, the house will be listed as under contract, which means it goes into its due diligence period. So if your offer is accepted, usually the seller's agent will want you to put down due diligence money. So due diligence money, typically you get that back once the house closes. It's not really necessary though. I think it's really a waste. And so did the free agent that I met. He never suggests putting down due diligence money on a home. Typically, they say if you do, it's between $500 and $1,000. It's just to show that you're serious about the home and you're asking the seller to take the house off the market. So once you pay your due diligence, if you do, typically 30 days or less thereafter, they'll ask you to also give earnest money. That money you do not get back. That money goes towards the purchase of your home. This house that I'm buying, it did not have any due diligence fees added towards it or put towards it, but we did have $500 in earnest money that went towards the purchase of the home. So that, again, that goes to the sellers. You do not get that money back. So I know with the coronavirus and everything going on, it really slowed down things for everyone, but especially and even with the house hunt. But I do think that it really worked in my favor, because if it would have been any other circumstances, I don't think I would be in this house or getting this house that I want. There were a lot of things I think that worked in my favor, but with the coronavirus, it really allowed me to get my foot in the door ASAP. So I saw this house go up. I notified my agent immediately. She set me up to, or sent me to call the lender and let them know, hey, I want to make an offer on this home. They moved quickly the very next day, because I called them after 5 p.m. to let them know I wanted to make an offer. They made the offer the very next day, cash offer. Offer was accepted. So the offer is accepted. Okay, good. You know, that's great. That's one step closer, but not so fast. That doesn't mean it's going to be yours. So you also, if you're not dealing with a lender like the company I'm dealing with, when you make an offer, you don't want to make an offer too high. You definitely don't want to under offer. Your agent should kind of be able to guide you on what's the safe ground to make an offer. Research the area yourself and look at the value of the homes. You can look on your county tax site and see what the house is worth. That's just a little tip. If you offer too high and the offer is accepted, when the appraiser comes out to appraise the value of your home, if it's less than what you offered, you actually have to pay the difference. So yeah, be careful of that. Once the offer has been accepted, next is scheduling of the inspection. So your agent should be able to help you with this. They will have an inspector come out. You will get an inspection report. Usually now they have them emailed to you, and they're filled with pictures and descriptions of everything on the house. So it's not uncommon to see a 100-page inspection report. Mine was really short compared to that. Mine was only like 26 pages long. I mean, and an inspection report is not all bad. Every house is going to have something wrong with it, whether it's the lock on the door not working, or a shortage in the outlet, electrical outlet, or a piece of wood that's chipped, or a door that's hanging off the hinge, or the roof that needs repairs, which in my case that was, and that's a big thing. So, you know, you'll want to review it carefully, make notes of what's important to you that you have concerns about, and relay that to your agent. Then it will be time to negotiate with the seller if they're going to make repairs, or if this is going to be something that you're stuck with, and you may want to reassess whether or not you want to move forward with this purchase if they're not willing to work with you and it's an expense you don't want to incur. So in my case, there were some minor things. The most major thing was my house has the original roof on it, and it isn't a state property, so the family of this person that owned it, they don't live in this state actually. So they're wanting to get rid of this property, and they initially said no repairs. By the grace of God, the universe, and everything else happening right now, they literally, right before due diligence ended, said they would replace the roof. So this coming week, the house is actually getting a brand new roof, and that can be pretty pricey. I mean, you're looking at a minimum of $5,000. It can be well over $10,000 depending on how much roof you have. So keep these repairs in mind. You guys don't want to be moving into a place that is going to eat you alive and leave you bankrupt basically. So make sure that you're being realistic about your expectations and about the things you want in a home. I know in the wake of the pandemic, some things that I noticed when I was on the matrix looking at these homes, houses would be off the market and then they would come back up and say at no fault of the seller. A lot of people were losing their jobs and not able to move forward with the purchase of the home, which was really sad. So a lot of them popped back up on the market. So that can be a reason a deal falls through. Also, if you're working with a sorry lender who doesn't do their part or doesn't properly screen you and tells you that you're qualified when you're not, you know, you get this offer in and realize that you can't get the house. These things can be deal breakers or deals that fall through. So a lot of things can go wrong in the process, and it often happens. So don't be alarmed. You know, if you go through the steps a few times before you land the house of your dreams, it can happen. I want to point out some very important things you absolutely should not do when you're in the process of home buying. You do not want to change jobs. You want to have a solid work history and be at your current job for at least a year. Showing instability in your employment makes you more of a risk to the lender, and they're not going to want to qualify you for a home. So don't change jobs. Don't get another car. That's going to add to your debt to income ratio. You don't want to do that. You don't want to create more debts for yourself. So don't open more credit cards unless it's suggested by your agent or lender to kind of help increase your credit score depending on loans you may be applying for. But you don't want to increase your debts, anything crazy. So, you know, once the inspection is done, you've decided on repairs that need to be made or not. Typically, after that's done, the closing happens. So a lot of times you can pick a attorney of your choice, or your agent may suggest someone that they're working with constantly. And it's usually best if the closing costs can be included in part of the sale, so you don't have to come out of pocket for that, because you're looking at least $800, $900 and up in closing costs. So it's always nice if that's included in part of the deal. Thankfully also that is included as a part of my deal. So after you close, you have your key, welcome home. So I'm glad I was able to consolidate all the steps like that. So let me know if you guys have any questions about each thing in particular that I mentioned, and I would be happy to answer those questions down below. You guys can also message me directly, or if you follow me on Instagram, be sure to message me on there and I can help you guys out with the process. It's always best, again, to check with your local counties and see what kind of programs that they offer for first-time home buyers, because there's a lot of money out there, and you can also stack loans that you may be eligible for. So, you know, once you have your home too, you'll want to make sure that you have homeowner's insurance, and you want to talk to your agent about things that need to be covered. Like if you have structures that are not attached to the home, you want to make sure those things are covered, like your trampolines, because that is considered a liability if the wind blows and topples it into the neighbor's yard and through a window or something. Garages that are not attached to the home, pools, things like that, water, you know, insurance, flood insurance, whatever. So check about those things as well. Your agent should be able to answer any questions that you have, and if not, they should be able to find a resource to get those questions answered. So yeah, you guys, save that money, keep up the good work, make sure you take care of your finances. Most importantly, I can't express how important that is. I can't stress how important that is to you guys. Take care of your finances, and everything will work out just fine. I hope that information was helpful. I tried to condense it in as short of a video as I could so it wasn't too long and drawn out. If you guys enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, and be sure to stay on the lookout, because I will be doing an empty house tour for you very soon, and I can't wait to make some great videos and vlogs and all that fun stuff at the new place. I'm so excited. You guys take care and have a great rest of the weekend. Bye.